Lesson 37, I will use standard algorithm for two-digit by two-digit multiplication. So yesterday, or in lesson 36, we learned to use area model and partial products to multiply two-digit by two-digit multiplication. And today we're going to kind of be transitioning away from that into what's called standard algorithm, which is basically the strategy that your parents would use. So I want you to go ahead and write your name on your problem set, and you're going to notice that we're going to do a little bit of partial products and a little bit of standard algorithm both today in our problem set. So put your name on your paper and look at what it says. Solve 14 times 12 using 4 partial products and 2 partial products. Remember to think in terms of units as you solve. Write an expression to find the area of each smaller rectangle in the area model. Okay, so we have 4 times 10, which is 4 ones times 110, which is 40. And if you come over here, you can see they have 4 ones times 110, so that goes here. And then we have 4 times 2, which is 8. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then we have 10 times 10, which is 100. And we have 10 times 2, which is 20. So 110 times 2 ones is 20. And 110 times 110 is 100. So now we add all of these partial products together. So this is 4 partial products. We get 168. This is the exact same problem. The only difference is they did not separate 12. Instead of making it 10 and 2, they kept 12 together. So now we're going to do 12 times 4, which if you didn't know, you could always come over here and say 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. I know that 12 times 4 is 48. So 4 ones times 12 ones is 48. And then we're doing 12 times 10. Well, 12 times 1 is 12. And I add my 10, so it's 120. Add it together. I get 168. So you can see this is the same strategy. It's just a little bit shorter. We did 2 partial products. Over here we did 4 partial products. This is leading into standard algorithm. Okay? All right. Now it says we're going to do the exact same thing for 43 times 32. So we've got 43 and 32. So we do 40 times 2, which is 80. 3 times 2, which is 6. 40 times 30, which is 12. And then I add my 2 tens, so it's 1200. And then 3 times 30 is 90. So now, 2 ones times 3 ones, which is right here, is 6. 2 ones times 4 tens, which is right here, is 80. 3 tens times 3 ones, which is right here, is 90. And then the last one is 1,200. Okay, we're going to add that together. I'm going to be careful because you can see I kind of got my 9 and my 2 out of line. I don't want to be careful not to add that 2 to the 9. All right, so this is actually 8, 9, and 0, which is 17. And I have 100 and 200, which is 300. 1,376. So now this is the exact same problem. The only difference is we did not separate 43. We kept 43 together. So now we're going to do 43 times 2. Okay, so you could come over here and you could rewrite that. 43 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. So that is 86. And then we're going to do 43 times 30. Same thing as 43 times 3, but I'm going to add a 0. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 3 is 12. I get 1,290, and I'm going to add that together. 6, 8 plus 9 is 17. Carry the 1, that's 3. Now I have 1,376. So I could come back here and write my partial products inside here. Okay, so this is transitioning to standard algorithm. All right, now it says solve 57 by 15 using 2 partial products. Match each partial product to its rectangle on the area model. So we're going to draw an area model. So I'm going to go ahead and get me a rectangle going. And remember, we're only using 2 partial products. So my rectangle is not going to have 4 parts. It's only going to have 2. Okay, so if I'm doing 57 times 15, the number on top stays whole. So I'm going to put 57. And then I'm going to take 15 and I'm going to divide it into expanded form. Now I'm going to put the 5 on top because when we get ready to transition to standard algorithm, you're going to be multiplying the 5 first. So I think it's important to look at it that way. All right, so we're going to do 57 times 5. So over here, I'm going to do 57 times 5. So 7 times 5 is 35. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3 is 28. So I have 285, 285. Okay, so this goes here. All right, now I'm going to do 57 times 10. I really don't have to work this out because 57 times 1 is 57, and I add my 0. So it's 570. 570. So this goes here. Now I'm just going to add these together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 8 plus 7 is 15. 2 and 5 is 7, plus 1 is 855. All right, now it's kind of taking us away from the area model. It says to visualize the area model to help you, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just draw it up here to kind of help us, but we don't, it says visualize, so we don't really have to. But if we have 25 times 46, that's 25 times 6, 25 times 40. So we've got 25 times 6, 25 times 40. Okay, so 25 times 6, 5 times 6 is 30, 2 times 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15, so this is 150. Now I'm going to do 25 times 40, which is really 25 times 4, but I add a 0, so 5 times 4 is 20, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10, so I have 1,000. You have to be careful that you line these up. So now I'm just going to add 0, 5, 1, and 1. So I have 1,150. Okay, so over here, I'm not going to draw the area model this time. Let's see if we can do it without it. So this is really 18 times 2. So I'm going to put 18 times 2 plus 18 times 60. So over here, I'm going to do 18 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 36. 18 times 60. It's really 18 times 6. Times 6, you just add a 0. 8. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So I have 1,080. Now I'll just add these together. I have 6, 11, 1, and 1. 1,116. Okay? All right, so now down here, we have to write it out for ourselves. They don't write it for us, okay? So this time it's 39 times 6 and 39 times 40. So if you feel pretty confident, go ahead and solve those two problems and add them together, and then come back and see if you get the same thing I did. All right, so I've got 39 times 6, which is 54. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. So that gives me 234. And then I've got 39 times 40. So I'm going to go ahead and put down my 0 because it's really 39 times 4. 9 times 4 is 36. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15. So I have 1,560. All right, so now we're going to add these together and see what we get. All right, so 4 plus 0 would be 4. 3 plus 6 would be 9. And 2 plus 5 is 7. And then 1 would be 1. All right, I want you to try this problem all by yourself. If you get stuck, look back over here at what we've done the last 3 problems, and then come back and see if you get the same answer as me. Okay, so for this problem, we're going to do 78 times 3 and 78 times 20. So 78 times 3 would be 24. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23. So we have 234 for 78 times 3. Now we're going to do 78 times 20. So it's really 78 times 2 and add a 10, so I put my 0 down. 8 times 2 is 16. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So I have 1,560. I'm going to add these together. I get 1,794. Okay, so that is the last of your problem set. So today, remember, the whole point of today's lesson is to transition away from the area model and partial products into standard algorithm. Area model and partial products will always get you the same answer. The only reason why we're trying a new strategy is because this strategy is more efficient. So we're taking parts of the other strategies and we're trying to just make a few shortcuts so that we can do this a little bit quicker.